Okay, so welcome in. It's lovely to see you all. I'm hoping that the sun is not going to start streaming through the window because it did that the other week. And it was quite nice because it sort of put me in this, a bit like an Instagram filter, this amazing sort of like rays coming out. But it might have made it a little bit difficult to see. If that happens and I don't notice, just chat and I'll see that you guys have chatted and I'll come and change it. But we're going to start off sitting down, however is comfortable for you, because we'll be here for a little bit of time with some breath work. There we go, here comes Becky. Yeah, actually, I'm feeling really stiff in the hips, so I'm going to sit on a block. Let me just check that when Becky comes on, she's on mute. Just mute Becky. Yeah, okay. And I mean, it's such a nice day. If you've got a nice view out of the window, then keep your eyes open if that's not going to be distracting, but otherwise maybe look down or close the eyes. And then before we start to sort of focus on the breath, can you just for a moment, like tense everything up? So get really tight, screw your hands into fists, squeeze your bum, squeeze your thighs, pull your navel into your spine, even your face, nobody can see you. And I've got my eyes closed, so I can't see you either. And don't look at me because I'm doing the same thing, but screw everything up really tight, like we do in Shavasana sometimes. And then release. And do that a couple more times. So really feel muscle squeezing into bone, feel loads of tension in the body, and then soften. And we'll do that one more time. So squeeze. Can you squeeze even tighter? And then release and soften. And allow that softness in your body to stay with you as we start to come into the breath. Because often when we sit up, we can get a little bit rigid and tense. And also, if you need to move, don't feel like you have to be completely static here. So if you kind of, need to move around a little bit, that's fine. But let the eyes come to a soft close or a soft gaze down to the floor in front of you. And just start by noticing the breath. Where are you feeling it? If I asked you to describe your breath to me, what words would you use? And recognizing that there's no right or wrong answer here. This is about this process of tuning in. And this kind of enforced isolation and slowing down that we're all living through at the moment is a really fantastic opportunity to kind of hone these skills, because so much of that busyness has just been stripped out of our lives. So just noticing the breath. And then maybe starting to gently extend the exhale. So nothing forced, but just a gentle elongation. And it may be that that feels soothing for you right now. I know for some of you, it's first day back of the summer terms. The kids' homeschooling started today. So maybe what you need is actually just this gentle, slow, elongated exhale. But for others of us, maybe we need a little bit of sound with that exhale. Maybe we need to release something. So that could sound like a gentle hum, a little bit of an open mouth and a, actually no, closed mouth. What am I talking about? Closed mouth and a hum out. Or it might be with an open mouth and more of a sigh. Or who knows, maybe you need to roar this evening or howl. I said on Saturday, I've been doing quite a lot of howling this week. I don't want to say that to worry anybody. It's just, it felt really good. So just if you want to make some noise, everyone's on mute. Just let it go. Because again, this is, I've said this before, this is not a time for hanging on to feelings, to emotions, to sensations in the body. We need to let this stuff out. So this is a really safe space to do that. And then if you are vocalizing, start to maybe reduce the volume, reduce the intensity. Bring it back to a more gentle sound. And then we'll start to morph that into long, slow breaths in and out through the nose. So kind of a pace you can work with, you can sustain as we start to move a little bit more. And then though we're all separate and we're all in our own spaces, we're still together, we're still connected as a community. So let's take some shared breaths. So let's all inhale through the nose and let the breath go. However that feels good for you. Again, inhale and let it go. Last time. Lovely. And then gently and slowly open your eyes, give yourself a moment. And then if you're sitting cross-legged, maybe change the cross of your legs just so that you balance out. Actually, I'm just going to move back onto my mat. And then bring the hands together at heart center. And then just think about your posture here. So we've been sitting for a little while. So have you started to round into the lower back? Can you feel, if you're sitting cross-legged, like the inner thighs are rolling down and behind you? The front of the pelvis is lifting up. And then the upper back is pressing back. So if there was a wall behind you, you'd feel your upper back pressing into the wall. And then bring your hands together in heart center. As you inhale, reach the hands tall, and then exhale, slowly bring them down. Working with your breath, hands together again, and inhale, reach up. And exhale down. One more in this direction, inhale. So we're just really feeling the shoulders, the shoulder joint, the shoulder blades moving on the back body. And then take it in the other direction, so palms up, inhale. And exhale down. Couple more, inhale. And exhale down. Last time, inhale, reach all the way up. And exhale down. Lovely. We'll take it into a twist here. So you're going to bring your right hand behind you, behind your left bum cheek, so not over to the left. So really just kind of behind the right hip. Inhale, left arm up. And then exhale, left hand comes onto right outside of the thigh or right side of the knee. Inhale, lift up to the crown of the head, and then turn. Feel as if you're turning from your shoulders. So not the lower back, not the lumbar, keeping the chest broad open and head in line with the middle of the chest. Can you feel as if your inner shoulder blades are squeezing in towards each other? One more breath here, and then exhale, come back to center. Inhale here, and then exhale, take it around to the other side. Inhale up to the crown of the head, and then exhale, start that turn. So leading with the shoulders. Good, then coming back to center. And then uncross your legs, bring them out in front of you. Just going to warm up the ankles and the wrists before we come into tabletop. So just start off by pointing and flexing your feet a few times. So inhale to point, exhale to flex. And then bringing the insides of the feet together. As you inhale, draw the pinky toe edge of the toes away from each other, and then exhale, bring the big toes together. So it's like the soles of the feet are meeting. Inhale, out like the wings of a butterfly, and exhale in. So it's sort of working on this side to side motion of the ankle joint, just to strengthen it a little bit. Good. And then legs slightly apart, circle the ankles one way and the other. And then bring your arms out in front of you, nice and parallel. Inhale, fingertips up to the ceiling. And exhale, draw them. You could even draw the fingers into the underside of the wrists. Keep going with that a few times. Good. And then turn the palms over. Have the hands, the arms straight with the arms slightly apart. And then exhale, thumbs away. Sorry, inhale, thumbs away. Exhale, fingers in. So again, it's that side to side movement. I find this really tricky. Trying to keep the arms flat as much as possible. So we're not turning like that. We're keeping them horizontal and just drawing the fingers away and then in as much as that's possible. I find, as I say, I find this tricky. Good. And then turn the hands over, loose fists. And hopefully you should feel a little bit of warmth in the wrist joint. Take the circles back in the other way. And give everything a shake. The shoulders a roll one way and then the other. And then come onto all fours into your tabletop and straight away start moving. So that might look like cat and cow, but that might look like just rolling the hips or moving the spine, any which way, just to bring some movement, start to warm up the joints of the spine. Finding that kind of sweet spot, and maybe close the eyes, or as I say, if you've got a lovely view outside, which I would normally, but there are now massive steel poles lying on the grass. Anyway, so yeah, just move. Couple more rounds of breath. And then come back to stillness. We're going to take thread the needle. So there's going to be quite a lot of shoulder work, shoulder opening in the practice today. So let's take the right hand, reach it up to the ceiling. So get that twist and opening through the thoracic spine. Inhale, reach the fingers up even taller. And then exhale, thread the arm, come down onto the shoulder, side of the head. And then once you're down, I want you to inhale the left arm up to the ceiling. You're going to get an opening through the armpit. And then bend that left elbow, bring the back of your left hand onto the outside of the right hip, or almost onto the right hip crease. So you're coming into a half bind with that left hand. Yeah, you guys look good. Breathe here. One more breath. And then exhale, unwind, come back to center. And we'll take it on the other side. So you're going to inhale the left arm up this time. Reach it tall. And then as you exhale, thread the left arm underneath. Come down onto the left shoulder side of the head. Take a couple of breaths to settle into the shape. And then you're going to inhale the right arm up to the ceiling. So feel that stretch in the armpit, almost breathe into that, and then bend the right elbow, bring the back of the right hand onto the back of the left hip, almost at the level of the hip crease. And then use that to open up through the front of the right chest into the pec. 2 long, slow, steady breaths here. Good. One more breath. And then exhale, unwind, bring yourself back to tabletop. And let's take a couple of rounds of cat-cow all together in tabletop. So knees underneath hips, wrists, elbows and shoulders roughly aligned, and make sure that the crease of the elbows is facing forward, so there's some engagement of the muscles of the back of the arms. And then as you inhale, start to lift the tailbone, dip the belly, shoulder, collarbones come wide. and then start to go the other way. So almost like tucking the tailbone round into the upper back, chin comes to chest, and then taking it the other way. So start to lift the gaze, feel that ripple through the spine, and one more back the other way into your angry cat. And then come to neutral. Going to take melting heart pose. So keeping the hips as far as possible over the knees. Walk your arms forward and let the chest sink down. For most of us, the chest isn't going to come all the way down to the mat. Maybe the forehead comes down. If you've got enough space, then the chin could come down. So feel the work that goes in the shoulders here. Front of the body is long. Two more breaths. And then gently unwind. Bring yourself back to tabletop. And then we'll set up for down dog. So if that means walking the hands slightly in front of the shoulders, curl the toes under, take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, press through the balls of the feet, lift sit bones high. And draw the chest towards the thighs. And then again, just as we did in tabletop to begin with, bring some movement in. So don't be static. And that movement could look like anything. It could look like kind of barrel rolls. It could be dropping the knees to one side and the hips to the other. Looking at that nice stretch down the side body. Or it could be as simple as walking your dog, paddling your feet. I quite like coming onto the tops of my feet actually, and then just stretching one side and then the other. That can feel quite nice. And then we're just going to work a little bit more on spinal mobility. So then come to stillness in your down dog. On your inhale, come right up onto the balls of the feet. As you exhale, bend the knees so that they hover, they're not touching the mat. Inhale, press through the hands, lift your sit bones. And then exhale, heels travel down towards the mat. They may not touch, that's fine. Inhale, lift up tall again. As you exhale, hover the knees down. Inhale, sit bones rise high. And exhale, heels down. Let's do that one more time. So inhale, rise up high on the balls of the feet. As you exhale, bend and hover the knees. Inhale, lift up high through the sit bones, and then exhale, heels down. Good. We're going to translate that now into a roll in between down dog and plank. So in your down dog, you're going to come up onto the balls of the feet and roll yourself forward into plank. Strong plank. And then bend the knees. And as you exhale, lift the sit bones, lift the bottom and roll back into down dog. So as you inhale, roll up onto the balls of the feet. It's almost like you're coming through an angry cat kind of shape into your plank. And then roll yourself back into down dog. So keep going with that, keep flowing, feeling that fluid spine. So it's like a wave. And to be honest, I don't really mind which way you wave the spine, going backwards and forwards, but just see if you can feel it moving independently rather than being a sort of a straight stick that's just moving up and down because you're hinging at your hips. The more we can bring movement and fluidity, the healthier our spine, the muscles, all of the fascial tissue around the joints, the vertebrae. So watch out for slumping into the lower back. So we need to have some core control to stop that happening. Do one more and then come back to down dog. I can see a cat here giving me a death stare. Fantastic. Oh, he's beautiful. She's beautiful. So from here, I'm going to come right up onto the balls of the feet. Cat showing us how to be in stillness. And then we're going to walk. If you're feeling energetic, jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down. So bend the knees so that you can get chest and thighs connected. Head, crown of the head reaching down. And then maybe just toe heeling the feet to part a little bit, grabbing hold of elbows and just swinging from side to side in ragdoll before we start to flow. Making sure that you're not rocking forward or back onto the heels or the balls of the feet, so you're nice and equally balanced, front to back, side to side, and then release the hands and use an inhale to slowly, slowly, slowly draw the arms up overhead and then draw them into heart center. So we're going to start to flow now. The sequence at the beginning involves some low lunges. So if anybody wants some padding for their knees, then pop a blanket or a cushion at the right place on your mat, so probably about halfway down, and then come to stand at the front of the mat again. Good. Looks like we are all ready. So you're going to inhale, draw the arms up overhead. And we're going to stay here for a moment, and I want you to really feel every in-breath, you're going to breathe into the armpits. As you exhale, can you feel the skin on your upper back drawing down? So inhale, breathe. It sounds an odd cue, but I find it really helpful. Breathe into the armpits, and as you exhale, feel that skin sliding down. One more time. Maybe look up, and then we're going to bend the knees, skin still sliding down the back into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, bend both knees, step back with the left foot, wiggle it back a little bit further, and then come down onto the left knee. Draw both arms up towards the ceiling. Good. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Press down through the top of the back foot and the shin to activate the front of the hip. Get that stretch. And then we're going to leave the right arm up. Left hand comes down on the inside of the right foot, and then turn towards that right thigh. So we're opening up. Good. And then just as we did in our thread the needle, you're going to bend that right arm, bend the elbow, bring the back of the right hand down onto the outside of the left thigh, opening. And then inhale, bring that arm up. And we're just going to circle it forward and back in full circles. So feeling that shoulder joint move. And then next time the arm is up, pointing up to the ceiling. Turn the torso to the front of the mat. Inhale, both arms up. And then exhale, hands down. Lift up onto the ball of the back foot, round to the upper back. Step yourself back to your plank. We'll hold plank just for a moment so that we can build some strength. So bottom's not up in the air, but you're not slumping down into your lower back. You're really strong. Stay with me. Notice your pattern here. You might be thinking, I just don't want to do this. Or you might be thinking, yeah, bring it on. Got to smash it. No right, no wrong, just notice. For me, when I'm holding plank this long, it's normally I want to run away. When's this going to end? And then let's all drop our knees, come onto the tops of the feet, and then think maintaining that nice straight shape, gently come all the way down. Slide your hands out in front of you into a Sphinx pose. And it may be that the arms are really quite far in front for this first gentle back bend. Activate through the legs, through the glutes, so the back body is strong. Lift up. Breath is easeful. One more breath. And then as you exhale, slide the hands underneath your shoulders, press up into tabletop, curl the toes, lift up to down dog. And then from here, you're going to lift the left leg up high and then roll forward, bend the knee, land the foot, And then get it in between the hands, however you get there. Wiggle the right foot back, come down onto the right knee, top of the right foot, sweep the arms up. And then we keep the left arm up, right hand down on the inside of the left foot, turn. And then we're going to take that half bind again. So bend the left arm, left hand onto the outside of the right hip. Good. And make sure that when we're in these binds that the neck is comfortable. So that means that doesn't have to mean you look to the side or look up. You could be looking down to the floor. One more breath. Good. And then take the hand back behind you. We're going to take those arm circles 3 times. And then next time the arm is up towards the ceiling, turn the torso to the front of your mat, reach the other arm up, take a breath in, and then we're going to take the breath out, hands down, and step forward into your forward fold. Press through the feet, and slowly as you inhale, rise all the way up, and hands into heart center. So we'll take that on the second side now. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forwards all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Bend the knees, hands down. Right foot back first this time. Down onto the top of the right knee. Going to sweep the arms up. Good. This time, the right arm is going to stay up. The left hand is going to come down on the inside of the left foot. And then open out. And then you can take the half bind. Really feeling, come around this way, feeling that right shoulder opening. And then maybe you can try for the full bind here. So we're nice and stable because we're down on the floor. So maybe just snuggle that left shoulder down a little bit further into the knee and the thigh. Take the left hand, you'll need to turn it so the palm faces down, underneath the thigh, and then maybe the hands meet. If they don't meet, I don't want you to force it, just keep the hands down on the floor. And I should have said, if the floor feels a bit far away, either come onto a fist or have a book or something to give you an extra bit of height. But if this feels too much coming into the full bind, when we come to coming up into a higher lunge, I'll show you an alternative. So don't force it, but just have a go now. We're nice and low down on the ground. One more breath. And then if you're in a bind of any sort, you're going to gently unwind. Square the torso back to the front. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands down, up onto the back leg, lift the knee, step back to plank. And then your journey back to down dog. So that could be a flow, that could be a roll back, or it could be simply hinging the hips. Your choice. Good. And then from here, you're going to lift the other leg up towards the ceiling. Take a nice inhale, and then as you exhale, you're going to bring that leg forward in between the hands. Drop down onto the knee, draw the arms up overhead. So this time the left hand stays up, the right hand comes down on the inside of the right foot, turn, or whichever leg it is. I've confused myself now. Yeah, I think that's the right one because I'm facing the right way. So half bind. Maybe you come down on the inside of the shoulder, hands down onto the palm or onto the fist, or have a go this side into that full bind. And it really doesn't matter if you're not reaching the full bind. This is about opening through the chest and twisting through that thoracic spine. The half bind will do the same, but it's just a nice way of exploring it when you're in the lower lunge. Couple more breaths, check in with your neck. Such a beautiful evening. So many of you are bathed in sunlight. It's gorgeous. One more breath. And then exhale, gently unwind, come all the way back. Square the torso to the front. Let's lift the arms up overhead. Breathe into the armpits. And then exhale, hands down. This time we're going to step back to down dog. Let me turn myself around. Take some breaths in down dog, so you can either be static or you can paddle the feet or move, whatever feels best for you. Before we take this on the slightly different direction. So when you're ready, you're going to inhale, left leg up towards the ceiling. And then I want you to really press out through the tops of the toes or the ball of the foot. Get that leg really super active. Come right up onto the ball of the right foot. And then as you exhale, bend the left knee forward. And then on a long, slow inhale, take it back up. Three-legged dog again. Maybe the heel of the right leg comes down. Inhale, up on the ball of the right foot, and exhale, knee comes forward. Inhale, back up. Right heel maybe comes a little lower. Last time. Inhale up onto the ball of the right foot. Exhale, round, land the left foot. Get it up in between the hands. Right foot turns in. We're going to set up for warrior two. So windmill your arms up. Find your warrior two. Adjust your legs as you need to get comfortable here. We're going to be very strong in our base while we flex through the upper body. So just to begin with, again, just to bring some movement in, rather than having your arms in this traditional warrior two, I want you to imagine that you've got a cape on, as in a cape on your body, not the small turkey animal. And that you are swooshing your cape around. So if any of you are Strictly fans, I think it's the Paso Doble. And it could be that you're just doing really small movements and just feeling the shoulders rolling, but get as dramatic as you want to. But as I say, rather than moving the pelvis around, can you keep that relatively still so the movement's coming from the upper body? Nice cape action, everyone. Good. And then when you're ready, smooth the arms out again. Find your warrior two. Just to add a little bit more fire, I want you to come up onto the ball of that left foot and feel like you're dragging the left heel into your inner groin. Stay smiling. And then set that heel down. Reverse your warrior. And what I find often is when I reverse, I kind of almost drop down into this back leg. I feel the inner thigh kind of sagging. Keep it really strong. One more breath here. And then we come into side angle lunge. So kind of a familiar shape. We just did it in that low lunge. So right hand up to the ceiling to begin with, opening through the chest. And then we'll come into the half bind. So right hand onto the back of the left hip. Good. And then we're going to take it a little bit deeper. So look down, slide that left hand down onto the inside of the foot. And keep opening here. As I say, if the floor feels a long way away, then a fist is a little easier, or have a book. It's really hard if you're just hovering, so you have to use a lot of muscular control. And then if you want to, if you found the full bind accessible when we were down on the floor, have a go at finding it now. If it wasn't accessible when you were down on the floor, rather than take the hand under the thigh through the inner thigh, take it around the outside of the thigh and bind. Your hands won't meet this way, but it's just an alternative. 3. And also don't, see if you can keep the torso lifted rather than hanging down to the floor. For 2, with the fire, how are you reacting? 3, and then gently exhale, release the hands. Inhale up into your warrior 2 again. You may want to just straighten your leg for a moment. And then we're going to bend the leg, pivot on the ball of the right foot, turn the hips to the front, arms up overhead, and then exhale, hands down, make your way back to down dog again, however you want to get there. Nice job, everyone. Jackie, think about maybe try bending your knees a little bit more, shooting your sit bones up towards the ceiling and chest. Yes, you can feel the difference. Don't answer that actually, because that one means going one-handed. So let's go on the other side. So we're going to lift the right leg up high. And then as you take another inhale, lift right up onto the ball of the left foot. Exhale, right knee forward. Not landing it yet. Inhale, right leg back high on the ball of the foot. And okay, exhale, heel down. Let's go again. Inhale, high up. Exhale.
Yeah, okay.
Foot forward.
Let's put another half an hour, so I don't want to cook it again.
Becky. And one more. This time we're going to bring the foot forward. So high up, and then bring the right leg forward. Land it, left foot turns in, windmill, your arms up, find your warrior 2. Good. And then we've got our cape on the other side, or our cloak. So again, just finding that movement. And again, I just noticed my back leg was doing that lazy thing again, because I was focused on my upper body. So keep the legs strong. And then next time you're ready, extend the arms. Going to come up onto the ball of the right foot. Feel the right heel dragging in. And then soften it down, reverse your warrior. And then come into your side angle lunge. So right forearm on the top of the right thigh, left hand up to begin with. And then bend the left arm, bring it onto the back of the right hip. And then maybe snuggling the hand on the inside. Again, coming into the bind. If this is not accessible, if the body says, I don't want to do that this evening, then your alternative is to take it on the outside of the thigh. But meet your body where it is this evening. Don't force, nothing to be gained from that and everything to be lost. It's not yoga. 3 more breaths here. Feeling the fire. Noticing our reactions. 1 more inhale. And then slowly release. Inhale, come back up to your warrior 2. Might feel the need to straighten the leg momentarily. Come back, pivot on the back foot, arms up overhead, hands down. Make your way back to down dog. And then let's all drop down onto our knees and just give ourselves a pause before we come into a final round and add. I'm sure you all know where we're going, but adding on our final shape, our final posture. So just breathing here. And it's good to see actually if child's pose is not the right pose for you at this point, then just find a comfortable position that you can take some rest in, let the breath come back under control. And then when you're ready, bring yourself up to down dog. Last round. So, nice, strong, firm down dog. Again, think about that length through the spine. And again, there's almost that sense of breathing into the armpits. So the arms are long. We're going to inhale, left leg up to the ceiling. As you exhale, roll forward, left knee towards nose, don't land the foot. Inhale up. Let's just spice it up because it's the last round. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. Inhale up. Left knee, right tricep, so across the body. Inhale up. Left knee, left knee to nose. Hold it there. Round, take an extra breath, and then land the foot. Right foot turns in, windmill the arms. Strong warrior two. So we won't wave our cape around this time, but we will take our reverse warrior. And as you take the upper body over, make sure that you don't come out of that bend in the front leg. Keep the legs really strong. One more breath. And then let's come into our side angle lunge. Right hand up towards the ceiling. Take the half bind here. Maybe the left hand comes down to the floor on the inside of the foot to begin with. And then if you have space, you're going to snuggle that arm under the inside of the thigh. Your alternative is to take the arm on the outside of the thigh. And then from here, we're going to add on. So I want you to look down to the inside of your left big toe. So the torso is going to start to turn to the front of the mat. You're then going to walk or hop your right foot forward. So you come into this really weird kind of crouching squat-like thing. And this may be enough for you. If you feel like you've got the strength that you want to try standing up, press into the right foot and slowly stand up. If you feel like your spine is really straight, you might feel like you want to experiment with straightening a little bit that left leg. I don't this evening, I'm really wobbly. But keep drawing the chest open. So just as we did in the binds, rather than have the shoulder blades drawing away from each other, squeeze them in. And the alternative, if your hand is on the outside of the thigh, again, you just stand up. Oops, really wobbly today. Keep the thigh, keep the chest open. Just staying here for a couple of breaths, and then we're going to come back in the way we come out the way we came back in. So gently come down, left foot comes down, keep the bind, right foot comes back. So you're back in your side angle lunge. Release the bind, windmill up, bring yourself up to warrior two. Take a moment here. If you need to straighten that leg, do so. One more breath. And then pivot on the ball of the back foot, arms up overhead, and then frame the left foot with both hands. Make your journey back to warrior to down dog. However you want to get there. Good. And then we'll take it on the other side. So as you inhale, lift the right leg up to the ceiling, come up high on the ball of the left foot. And then you're going to exhale your right knee towards your nose. Good. Inhale back up. This time your right knee is going to come to your right tricep. So same side of the body. Inhale back up. This time we're going to take the twist. So right knee, left tricep. Good. Inhale up, use some energy to get the leg really high. And then exhale, come forward, knee to nose, and then hold it there. Take an extra breath, and then land the right foot in between the hands, left foot turns in, and then windmill your arms up, warrior two. So firm base and reverse your warrior. One more breath. And then as you exhale, side angle lunge, right hand onto the right thigh, but not dumping down, just holding left hand up to the ceiling, half bind, travel down, and then either full bind through the underside, the inside of the thigh, or the outside. Lift up, squeeze the inner shoulder blades together, and then look down to the floor to the inside of that right big toe. Hop your left leg forward, ground through that left foot, and then slowly stand up. If that's what your body wants to do. If it doesn't, then stay down, stay in the bind. So straighten up, open the chest, extend that leg if you want to. For 3, for 2, nice job guys, 1, and then mindfully come back down, right foot down, hop the left foot back, so you're back in your side angle lunge with the bind. Release the hands slowly, inhale, all the way back up, and then pivot on the ball of the back foot, come around, hands either side of the front foot, frame it, and then make your way back to down dog, however you want to get there. Good. Right, we're all back in down dog, nice. So from here, you're going to inhale, left leg up tall, maybe come right up on the ball of the right foot. This time the left foot is going to land on the outside of the left hand. Take another inhale, lift high on the ball of the right foot, and as you exhale, right foot coming on the outside of the right hand. So again, you're in this kind of weird high squat position. And then lift the torso, arms, let me show you this way, arms out. Just building a little bit more fire into those legs, hands out. A little bit more of a twist. So we're going to try and keep the arms this far apart. They're not going to move in. Inhale up through the crown of the head, and then slowly turn to the right, through the rib cage, not through the whole body. Keep that distance between the insides of the elbows. So the backs of the shoulder, the inside of the shoulder blades will squeeze together. Inhale back to center. Exhale. If you need to straighten up, do. If you can, stay down and stay with the fire. Inhale, breathe into the armpits, and exhale, skin on the upper back of the body slides down. Inhale back to center. And then slowly come down. Yeah, we're coming all the way down. Hands behind you. Sit down on your bottom. Stretch your legs out in front of you. Loose fists. Your quads. With a tap. We're working really hard then. So just take a moment in Dandasana, sitting up tall, but still finding that softness that we found at the beginning with the breath work. Slow the breath down if it's got a little bit rapid. And then we're going to come and lie down on our back. So just make sure you've got enough space. Really up to you how you come down. That could be arms out in front of you, could be across your body, chin tucked and rolling down, or it could be a kind of a more of a hinge down, but come down to lie on your backs. Good. And then we've been doing all of this twisting and this binding, so I want to get some length through the body again. So draw your arms overhead. Take a full body stretch. Get really long, so point your toes unless that gives you cramp. And then we're going to take it into Banana Asana. So we're going to come into a C shape. So walk your feet over to the right, and then walk your hands over to the right as well. And if you feel like you want a little bit more, you cross your left ankle over your right, grab hold of your left wrist with your right hand and draw it over to create more space through that left side body. Two more breaths. And then on your next exhale, gently release any grips you have and come back to center. Take another inhale in that full body stretch, and then exhale, take your legs over to the opposite side, over to the left. And then on your next exhale, take them over. Take your arms over as well, I should say. Couple more breaths. And then gently bring yourself all the way back to the center line. And then from there, bend one knee into your chest and the other. Draw your hands down by your side. And then we're going to take the legs up in the air. So you could keep the hands down by your side, or on an inhale, lift the hips and then just slide the hands underneath your pelvis. Hands could either be side by side, or it's quite nice to have one hand on top of the other, palms facing down, I find more comfortable. And just use that little raised platform to then let your sacrum down on. And legs could be more or less straight, or if that feels too much, then bend your knees, because this is about just elevating the heart slightly above the head, and also just raising the legs to release any heaviness, help with lymphatic drainage. And can you discern, do you want to be still here, or do you want to bring some last bits of movement in, which might look like rotating the ankles or just moving the legs around? Lovely. And then when you're ready, come to stillness for maybe 2 slow breaths. And then from there, when you're ready, when you finish those breaths, draw the knees into the chest. And then as you inhale, just lift the hips and draw the hands away. If there are any other closing shapes you want to take, rocking from side to side is really nice in the lower back. Happy baby or anything like that, take it now. And then get yourself ready for Shavasana, the rest pose. So that might mean putting a blanket on top of you, or putting some socks or a jumper on. Get cozy so that you can really let the body soften and chill and relax when you come down. And if you're playing the playlist, hopefully you're somewhere around Flight from the City or Immunity. They're both really nice tracks for Shavasana. So bring yourself down. Maybe just as we did at the beginning, take a couple of rounds of breath where you inhale and squeeze everything in through the face up, and then exhale, release. Doing that a couple of times. And then letting go of the breath, so letting it become super soft and gentle. And just allow yourself this point of integration, this time of stillness. But that doesn't mean that we're going to stop the thoughts. What we're trying to cultivate is that ability to feel them and then let them go, not get caught up. Such a useful skill, mindfulness. And then starting to become aware once again of your physicality, that sense of your body resting on the ground, the sense of where you are in space in the room that you're in. And then when you're ready, and honestly, you can stay in your Shavasana as long as you need to. Don't feel like you have to get up just because we're coming to the end of the hour and I'm drawing things to a close. If your body needs more rest, then please stay down. If you are ready to start to come back in into your evening, if you have things to do, then bring gentle movement in. And then increase that into any stretches, any movements. And when you feel ready, then gently roll onto one side. And use your hands to support you to bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. And again, if the view's lovely and you can see it, then gaze out onto that, or If you want to just stay in that internal space, close your eyes or look down to the floor. And then just, I want you to take your hands around your throat, not in a way that feels like you're strangling yourself, but just very softly, very lovingly. And then you're going to start to stroke those hands down from your throat, down your chest, down to your belly, and then maybe the thighs. Do that another couple of times, this gentle skin on skin contact. So just stimulate a vagal nerve, because it's quite close to the skin and several places that we're moving the hands over. So just soothing the nervous system. And then just bring your hands onto the head and just as if you're shampooing. This feels really nice, I think, just as if you're shampooing your hair, particularly around the back and the base of the skull. And then hands onto the top of the head. And I don't remember when you were a child, you did that thing where you kind of crack the egg, but just really gently holding the skull, holding the skull. And then allow the hands to travel down through the neck once more and then down into heart space, palms touching each other. Bow your heads. And then I just came across this quote this morning, which I thought was, it's a quote from Gandhi, which I'll leave you with before we close, just because it seems really relevant at this extraordinary time. And he said, "There is more to life than increasing its speed." I think we've all been given this pause now, and that we've got time and opportunity to think maybe what out of lockdown. And our practice is a really good way of mirroring some of those thoughts. So thank you so much for sharing your time with me this evening. It means the world to see your faces, to see you practicing on your mats. Gently take your thumbs up to forehead center. Thank you. Have a good week, guys. Take care. If you're still in Shavasana, then stay there. I'm going to stop recording.